Daddy's Home 2 is directed by Sean Anders and stars Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. Having finally gotten used to each other's existence, Brad and Dusty must now deal with their intrusive fathers during the Christmas holidays, as both families will be combining and joining together for their first ever Together Christmas. Let me first preface this by saying that I have never seen the first Daddy's Home. Even to this, normally when it comes to a film I've never seen before and there's a sequel coming out, I tend to do my homework and watch the first film beforehand. However, I just haven't had the time. However, I did go into this movie completely fresh, and all I will say is, for anybody who is wondering, if you have not seen the first Daddy's Home and you want to watch this one, don't worry about catching up, as you will completely understand everything that's going on in this film, so you don't need to worry about that. All of the actors are at the absolute top of their game in this film. This mostly extends to Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. This is the funniest I have seen Will Ferrell in a very long time. I haven't seen him be this funny in a movie probably since the Anchorman films. And Mark Wahlberg has never been this funny in a film. I always knew he had comedic chops, but I didn't know he was this funny. If he's given a good script and he's put with good actors, Mark Wahlberg is definitely a very reliable comedic actor. And then we have the grandparents, played by Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. And John Lithgow is a very relaxing, very nice on-screen presence, as he always is, while also being very funny. And Mel Gibson is incredible in this film. I know a lot of people aren't going to like him in this, but as someone who kind of enjoys his very wacky, kind of very offensive, on-the-nose personality, I really could not help but smile every time he was on screen, and he definitely steals the limelight every single time he shows up and blows every other character out of the water. Also, Linda Cardellini, who is an actress who I'm quite a big fan of, but I've never really seen her be in a comedic role before, was actually very funny in this too. I didn't know she could actually be a very funny lead actress, but she actually is in this film, and I was really happy to see that too. Now, I'm just going to say this, that I really enjoy bad comedies. You will know this if you've seen some of my reviews, you'll know this if you listen to my podcast, but you'll know that I really have a guilty pleasure soft spot when it comes to bad comedies, such as Baywatch or Chips. I really enjoy comedies that aren't necessarily good, but they're just trying to have a good time. And I will say that Daddy's Home 2 was such a good time for me, and I couldn't have enjoyed myself more while watching it. I swear to you guys that I have never laughed as much in a film this year as I have in Daddy's Home 2. I found every joke pretty much hilarious, and I'm talking gut-wrenching hilarious. I was constantly laughing, constantly smiling, and I found every joke to be just as good as the last. It was always trying to up itself, and it always did, and I never felt like it crossed the line. It was really amazing to see how these jokes kept coming out, and each one felt fresh and unique, so it never got old. Speaking of crossing the line though, there is a couple of jokes involving the kids, which I feel that because the actors are kids and because the jokes were about them, they did kind of go a little bit too far, but they were still funny nonetheless. I also just really enjoyed the vibe of this movie, similar to what I said about A Bad Mum's Christmas. This is, it's a very much a Christmassy film, a Christmas family comedy, and it's a really entertaining, good Christmas film. And seeing as we are in the run up to Christmas now, it seems like this film is very appropriate for this time of year, and you do get a good Christmassy vibe. There's plenty of Christmas songs in this movie, and it does get you into the vibe. This is kind of the first Christmassy movie that has really got me into the Christmas mood so far this year, so that was really nice to see. Also, I felt that my experience was slightly helped by the amazing vibe that was going on in my cinema. Everybody who was watching the movie with me was absolutely loving it. Everyone was having a blast, everyone was laughing and smiling, and we were all having a really good time watching this film together, and I think that definitely helped with the overall opinion I have on this film, as if other people are laughing at the film, you're going to laugh at the film. It's just the way human nature works. So if that's the effect that this movie is going to have on people, I'm sure you'll have the same effect when you watch it too. So I guess what you're all really thinking is, how can you like this movie so much when it clearly is not that good? Well, like I said, I have a real soft spot for these sort of movies, these sort of bad comedies. And while I will say, looking at it from a critic's point of view, this movie is not good by any stretch of the imagination. Is it entertaining though? Most definitely yes. It's extremely funny, and like I said, just a really good time, and that's all I care about really. Overall, Daddy's Home 2 is an absolute blast. I had such a good time watching it. The movie has a very nice Christmassy vibe and a very nice a message of bringing people together, and the way that this brings audiences together to have a good time while watching this film really is a good way to watch this film. And I really enjoyed the comedy, I really enjoyed the actors, and also Mel Gibson is a glorious, glorious man in this film. I would definitely check this one out. You shouldn't want to miss it. Even though I gave this movie a very good review, looking at it through my critic brain, I am going to have to give it the honest grade. I'm going to give Daddy's Home 2 a C.